What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Bear NecessiTCG, and today we are going to be checking out the first look of Lorcana's newest set, Rise of the Floodborn. And before we get into it, I'd like to thank my 133 subscribers. Thank you for all your support. So, today they just released this on the Lorcana's website, and what I do like about it is called Rise of the Floodborn instead of Chapter 2. I know a lot of people are saying that also, and I have to agree. If they want to do the chapters, I think they should use the chapters as blocks, kind of like Magic has, certain blocks for their sets, and they rotate out. So if they want to do Chapter 1 and then have maybe 3 releases in that chapter, and then Chapter 2 and another 3 releases, I think that would be great. So what is this set all about? Because the first Lorcana set was kind of a mix match of, of different things. Some of them were just like the Disney story. Those characters looked the same. Some of them were slightly different, but there was no overall theme. Here, there seems to be a theme. So let's zoom in on this. And I'm going to give it the voiceover treatment. I'm going to practice some voice acting right now. This set dips into the inky origins of Floodborn glimmers. The 6 magical inks, Amber, Amethyst, Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, and Steel, were released in a mixed-up chaotic form, resulting in a mysterious flood which damaged the Great Illuminary. When Storyborn or Dreamborn glimmers encounter this mixed ink, they surge with power that changes them, transforming them into Floodborn glimmers. As the magical ink poured out of the Illuminary, treasured lore went with it, including King Triton's powerful trident. All right. Yeah, my English teachers would be proud. I remember when I was in school, I was afraid to read. When it went around the classroom, I was shaking. I messed up all my words. So times have changed. I'm a little more comfortable with myself. But just to sum all that up, it just means that these characters are going to be reimagined. That's all. And we'll get into the individual cards that are being shown. I just want to talk a little bit more about the set in general before we dive into that. So, Rise of the Floodborn is going to feature, 200 cards, brand new artwork. They're going to bring in Snow White, Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Zootopia, The Great Mouse Detective, Jungle Book, Ray of the Last Dragon, and Zootopia just seems like a random one they're going to throw in there. But when you look at how many Disney IPs and everything there's so many that they could keep this game going for a long time. Another gameplay keyword they have is resist. The resist keyword indicates how much additional damage characters may be able to withstand. For example, resist +2 on a character would mean any damage dealt to them is reduced by 2. So you're going to have a little more sturdier, hardier characters, which is really nice against things like Fire the Cannons, where it says, do 2 damage, and all of a sudden your guy dies. You'll be protected from things like this, smaller creatures, I really need to start using Lorcana's language. It's just hard jumping from all these different TCGs. So we're going to have booster packs, of course, booster boxes. We have 2 more starter decks. So we have Amber Sapphire and Amethyst Steel. We have more accessories, sleeves, and playmats. This Winnie the Pooh artwork, everyone's talking about that, and rightfully so. I don't even like Winnie the Pooh, but I want this playmat just because of that. And it's a shame that is a common card. Then to the left of it, it looks like Beast. I actually got really excited because I'm like, oh, they're pulling gargoyles out. Remember that animated show? So I looked it up. That is Disney. They could pull from there. Some other things they have going on. We have the Disney 100th anniversary special collection. Those are going to have some special artwork. These will be sold out. These will be hard to find. So don't go crazy. You'll get your hands on them eventually. The more product that they put out, the better it's going to be. There's going to be, when these drop in stores, everyone is going to be looking for it. And they're going to be picking those up, and they may leave the regular gift sets on the shelf. They can pick those up. So I'm not too worried about it. I actually want these things to come out. I want the scalpers to go for the things that they perceive is going to get them the most money. That way we can pick up all the other stuff. So as I said, it's going to be November 17th. That is going to be at LGS's, and then on December 1st is when it's going to be released everywhere else, so your Targets and places like that. So we still have some more time with the first chapter. So let's talk about these cards. In just a second, I just need a drink. Oh, I didn't even do like the drink of the day. It's probably because it's nothing new. It's just an old Milwaukee non-alcoholic beer. All right. Let's start at the top with the Queen, Commanding Presence. So it is a 5 cost. It is inkable, which is very nice. And then we have the 4 attack, 3 defense. I know those aren't the right terms, but I'm just going to use them. Shift 2. It is a Floodborn, villain, and a queen. And the ability, who is the fairest, whenever this character requests chosen opposing character gets -4 attack. This turn, chosen character gets +4 attack this turn. Legendary rareness. I don't think this is going to get a lot of play. I've played decks with a lot of minus power, gain power, and they're just not as powerful as a lot of the other cards. When more cards release, that may shift, but for what I'm seeing, it may be fun because you can shift it with 2, but we'll have to see what it shifts on and a little more information before we can clearly see if this will see play. Not a bad card, but I don't think it's anything crazy. Moving on to Bell, Hidden Archer, 5 costs, not inkable. It's a 3/3, shift 3, and it quests for 3. A lot of 3s going on here. Ability, Thorny Arrows. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hand. I think this one's going to be a better card, and it's going to see more play, not because of the ability of discarding all cards in their hand. No one's going to kill this unless they have no cards in their hands already. It's kind of like Flynn Rider in the sense that no one attacks it usually, unless they're going to throw a junk card away or they're already out of cards. So this will, I think this will see play, but it's just going to be one of those things where you shift into her and then you start questing. No one's going to touch her. They might use some removal, but overall, I think that is a decent card. We have Gaston, Intellectual Powerhouse. So as you can see, Gaston's never been the intellectual powerhouse. So they are mixing certain things together, and you are creating these glimmers based on that description I read you, where things got mixed up, and now all of a sudden he's smart. So a lot of shift cards that they're displaying here. So 6 non-inkable, 4/4, shift 4, and it also quests for 3. Developed Brain. When you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put 1 in your hand, put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. I don't think this is going to be great unless there's more Gaston cards to go with it, and you can build around it, because Shift 4, 4 is kind of a lot for shifting. And you do get to draw a card, but that is only once. And it is the top 3, so you'll probably pull something that you need. But overall, you can't ink it. You have to have a guest on and play. I think it's an okay card, but not something that is just wow. Moving on to a common card, we have Winnie the Pooh, Honey Wizard. 5 cost, inkable, 5/5, 2 to quest, and just amazing artwork. This is artwork that should be on a... There should be an alternate art for this. It should be foiled. It should be all sorts of just amazing. I like the whole Winnie the Pooh sorcerer idea. I don't think this is going to see a lot of play, but there is a place for it because the actual traits, Dreamborn, Hero, and Sorcerer, that Sorcerer one probably going to come in pretty handy later. It might be something where you build a Sorcerer deck. It's not going to happen in Chapter 1. It may not happen in Chapter 2, but as not Chapter 2, I'm just talking about this set, Rise of the Floodborn. It may not happen there. You might need more sets before this can see some play. Because right now, it's just an okay card. It doesn't have an ability. I would skip it unless you're building around Dreamborn, Hero, or Sorcerer. Tiana, Cellbang Princess. First of all, I want to talk about the actual movie for a second. Not a fan. I think that whole love story happened way too quick. And when I was watching it, I watched it as an adult, though, so maybe that's why. It's not one of my favorite Disney movies. But 4 cost, not inkable. 1/4. This does have the new Resist 2. And Quest for 2 has the ability, what you give is what you get. Well, this card is exerted and you have no cards in your hand. Opponent can't play actions. So this... it's situational. This ability would have saved me a lot of games when I had board control and they went and played Be Prepared, wiped everything out. So if I had this, no cards in my hand, and they had Be Prepared and I was just winning, they wouldn't be able to wipe the board. So this is going to come in more handy, I think. The problem is you have to play all your cards. And that's going to be really rough unless you build a deck around it. But I do think there's going to be a place for that. I think that'll be in some, unique decks. And last card we have is Cinderella Stout-Hearted. 7 inkable, 5/5, shift 5, resist 2, quest for 3, and the singing sword ability. Whenever you play a song, this character may challenge ready characters this turn. I think this will see some play. I don't know if it's going to get it's not going to be in like the top decks right away, depending on what other cards come out, of course, but that singing sword ability to attack a ready character, that is going to be amazing. Because there's a lot of people that hold back. They don't want to attack with anything. And it has the resist. So you can keep just running into these little creatures, little characters, and just killing them. And I think this is going to be really good. There's other Cinderella cards already that this can shift onto. 5, the cost is still a lot, but for what you get, it's going to be pretty nice. They're going to have to deal with this Cinderella card in a different way, whether that's with an action or an ability or having, certain cards that you're not going to run into, like the no touchy ability. So I do think this is going to see play. It also has a lot of traits: Floodborn, Hero, Princess, and Knight. With Princess, you can pair that with Moana, for example. There's other Princess cards. With Knight, there's going to be more Knight cards. So overall, I think this is going to be a really good card. And that is it for the first look. They're going to continue to release cards, and I will keep everyone updated on what I think. I'm still going to play around with it and keep it in my mind. I play on Pixelborn, so people will start adding these cards to that game. So I'll be able to play test them a lot more and actually find out what's actually good and what's hypothetically good, because you never know till you actually play it and more cards get released. I had a whole deck in mind when the first chapter was released. I take that back. When the first chapter, when they were releasing the cards, I was like, I'm going to build a deck around that, and I'm going to have that, and I'm going to have this type of deck. And they released more cards, and the more cards they released, the more I realized that's not going to work. My strategy is just not going to work. So I would say anyone that's looking at this, don't jump to conclusions yet. Don't be the first person. For example, I said this card was going to be good to play. Do not jump on this on release, because nobody knows what's going to be good or bad, and chances are a lot of these cards will drop in price because people will try them out and figure out it doesn't work so well. It's not viable yet. But that's all I got for you today. Good luck finding Lorcana cards. Keep checking your targets, your Walmarts. Don't give in to scalpers. And I wish all of you luck. You'll get the cards. You'll get to play. And hopefully you hit some of those enchanted cards. I'll catch everyone next time.